Wow, it is always good when you get that riff on a Monday show. And I'm 3 cups of coffee. This is my third.
I'm on my second.
I was doing this. This is great. So you're like this. This is you. I'm like this. 3. You got to though. You drink it black?
Yeah. I got black today.
I got black too. But what a great Monday we have, August 11th edition. Sean Spin in the Morning, presented by Off Base Media. Good eventful weekend, Shawnee. A lot of things that happened. A little bit of history, a little bit of cool things, a little bit of kind of legends from our fucking childhood or whatever, our era, kind of coming back up into the news as of late. It seems like there's been a lot of that. And we'll get into all that and more. But first of all, Shawnee, how are you feeling? Dude, this weekend's kind of been crazy. Both of our golden takes hit, by the way.
First time.
I know
First
you're
time
good.
for everything. First time for everything. But it was a good weekend. We were just talking about before we got on the program how crazy these standings are. In all honesty, I did not think that we knew going down the line that it was going to get wild, but I didn't think it was going to get wild this early on. We're going to get into it a little bit more later, but there's teams falling that we didn't think were going to fall. And when I talk about fall, it's a decent amount. Teams going up that we didn't think were going up. I mean, it's all over the place. And I'm glad we started this podcast this year because this playoff push and this playoff race and the playoffs themselves are going to be freaking wild because it's so wide open. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so pumped.
I love it. Let's first get into our vibe check because we had some shit over the weekend and just a bunch of fun things, I think. I mean, we'll start with this guy. It's always good to kind of honor a dude who's had 12 years of service time, Alex Wood, who announced his retirement at the age of 33. I don't know. It's not like he's he's not like a Clayton Kershaw announced his retirement. This is a different lefty named Alex Wood, but good little thing nonetheless. He was a one-time All-Star and it was a part of the 2020 World Series winning Dodgers. And it's always nice when you kind of have a guy 12 years in the show. He got his MLB card. Remember that little
golden card. Yeah.
So I think that's 12, that's 10 years of service time. He's been in for 12, and okay, that's cool. I don't mind being, hey, Alex Wood, salute, good to see you. Really nice thing.
Yeah, the anytime a guy can put it together 12 seasons in the MLB, you got to give him some love.
Yeah. So. Again, I don't know how jump out of your shoes that is, but that's something that happened over the weekend, and we'll give him a little nod on the program. Shout out Alex Wood. Here's something that's a little bit more cool and a little bit more of a legend status that Yadier Molina does have. But you saw him back in a Cardinals uniform. No, he was not playing, guys, at home. He was a guest coach for St. Louis during their series against the Cubs, which was his first appearance in a Cubs jersey since he retired in 2022. He was in the dugout as like this honorary coach. They call it a guest coach. I feel like honorary coach kind of sounds cooler. But either way, he was working with the catchers in the weekend series against the Cardinals, so one of the better rivalries in sports, Cubs-Cardinals. Cardinals took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs in this series, and he was there to kind of help coach. Cool stuff, I guess, for Yadi. It's always good to see him back in uniform and just being around the game.
Like Yadier Molina, almost when people refer to him as a Hall of Famer, is almost not enough when you talk about Yadier Molina because he's arguably like the GOAT, one of the GOAT catchers. Like he's up.
You could say he's top 5, right?
Yeah, like he's up there, like one of the best defensive ones, probably for me, top 3, top 2 defensive ever. Yeah. Like he was a unit behind the plate. He had some pretty good hitting years, but defensively, he's what kept Buster Posey from winning all these damn awards most of the time. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when we were younger. No, so Yadier Molina being anywhere, just in the presence of your ball club, is just it brings something to it almost. It's like when we had Hamels sitting. I always go back to talking about the Phillies, but when we had Hamels there in spring training to talk to some of these younger guys like Painter and Mick Abel and stuff like that, It does a little bit for you. A guy that's had a 10-year like they or in a career like Yadier has, just being in the dugout is great for the guys.
Yeah, maybe I jumped out of my shoes to call him a top 5 all time, but I think you could argue that he's definitely top 10. I would confidently say. But here's the other thing, right? He's a 2-time World Series champion, and to have that around your guys is special. So good stuff there. Yadi, always cool, and he's I think managed Team Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic.
I think or he's gonna. Like I'd give him top 10. There's a lot of good catchers in our time, but I'd give him top 10.
I would think he's very. Yeah, I would confidently say he's top 10 catcher all time. And when you talk about him and Posey, both those NL catchers who are at the top of their game, it's like, yeah, Posey was maybe winning the Silver Sluggers, but Yadi winning the Gold Gloves. And,
exactly. So neither of them could get it.
Yeah, those are the big two. I think there could have been times where maybe Yadi did have a Silver Slugger and Posey did win a gold. But for the most part, I mean, the Gold Glove ran through Yadi and the Silver Slugger ran through fucking Buster. So cool. Love to see that because and Posey's been very relevant this year because he's the president of baseball ops for this guy, and now Yadi, there he is. Here's another guy. Now Darryl Strawberry wasn't our generation; he's well before our time. But for the longest time, he had the Mets home run record at 252. Well, over the weekend, your buddy Pete Alonso had tied him for the all-time Mets record with his 252nd career home run. Of course, all of them coming with the New York Mets. And a certain point this year, Pete's going to break that record.
100%. This is going to be a record that Pete holds for probably a good amount of time, if you think about it. They don't really have any young guys. Maybe Soto. But for the Mets, Soto's going to be there for a while. Yeah, so maybe not. But good for – I mean, Pete's having an unbelievable year, and he's been a great Met for them. But the Mets are always going to Met, baby.
And they might be doing it right now. I love it. I love that's almost like its own edition of cool or not cool. It's like cool, Pete did that. That's nice, and he's probably going to break the record like probably this week. He very well could. And then it's like, well, what's not cool is, ooh, they're slipping. They're slipping.
The Mets fucking suck.
So I love that. But we'll get to some of the cool, not cool in just a second. Here's another dude. Speaking of dudes from our generation, our childhood, Josh Hamilton. So he's been in the Rangers Hall of Fame. I've seen things where he's inducted into his – I think he got inducted, if I'm not mistaken. He got actually inducted into the Rangers Hall of Fame in 2019. But over the weekend, he officially got his jacket, which they didn't start giving out jackets till like 2021. So he was already in the Hall of Fame. Then they started doing the jackets. So I guess he was already a Hall of Famer. But on Saturday, he officially got his jacket. Maybe there was a speech involved. I didn't go that deep. But when you think of Josh Hamilton, I mean, what do you think of? The guy was a stud back in like 2010, late 2000s, early 2010s.
When you talk, I mean, like you talk about pulls of random guys, like Josh Hamilton had that one year where he was legitimately, you couldn't throw the ball anywhere around him because it was getting smashed. His MVP season, it was an MVP season, right?
In 2010, he was the MVP.
Yeah, so like he was absolutely unbelievable for them. Had a lot of trouble off the field is what really harmed his career. So I'm actually kind of shocked he's in the Hall of Fame there a little bit because he does have an asterisk next to him because of all the off the field stuff he has.
Yeah, but it's so weird in the baseball world. Like it's better to be like doing cocaine than like steroids. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, you would think so. Apparently, that's what the MLB paints it as.
Yeah, I guess. But so he had like a 5-year span. He was really only like had his first full season at the age of 27. I think a lot of it had to do with he had his struggles early on. But in 08 was his first full season. He was a Red in 07. But 08 was his first full season. From the years 08 to 2012, 5 straight seasons with the Rangers. He was an MVP, a 5-time All-Star, 3 Silver Slugger, batting title, MVP of the ALCS, MLB Player of the Year. He was a ribby leader or some shit. He went to 2 pennants in that span. So he had like a 5-year span of just being that motherfucker and being a part of some good Rangers teams too. They never actually won the World Series, but they won the pennant twice. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to the Angels with the in 2013-14. He was only 32 and 33. His career, it wasn't awful in 2013 in his first year in Anaheim, but things started to trend down. He goes back to the Rangers in 2015 for like 50 games. He was only 34. By the age of 35, he was out of the league, and he never played 10 years in the league. He was only 9 years in the show. So he did not get his MLB card. Alex Wood, he gets his MLB Golden Pass. Josh Hamilton never got a Golden Pass, but he is in the Rangers Hall of Fame, one of the best Texas Rangers of all time. So that's cool.
I
That's
know in
cool, I
the
guess.
back
But
end of his career, he dealt with some injuries too, on top of everything else. So it was like it was a very short-lived time that he was pretty good. But like you said, during that like 5-year span or like that stint with the Rangers, he was unbelievable.
and I don't know, maybe there was like a relapse in there too. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, he did. This guy needs to write a book because it would be extremely like I would read it in a heartbeat.
I
It would
watched
be
the 30 for 30. There has to be a 30 for 30. I mean, he's one of the bigger what ifs in all of sports.
100%. Because when he was healthy and not doing fucking drugs for like, you know, well, maybe he was doing drugs. Who the fuck knows? But like but for that 4 or 5 year stint, he was one of the best players in baseball. And then think about, like you said, he didn't get his start until he was like, what, 27?
Yeah.
So if he started earlier, it is a big what if. It is a big what if.
It is. But good for you, Josh. And whatever everyone always remembers about Josh is that home run derby. And in Yankee Stadium. We talked about this about a week ago when it was like announced he was getting his jacket. But now that it's official, that's like his big like thing that I feel like when you hear the name Josh Hamilton, everyone goes back to that moment. The funny thing is he didn't even win that home run derby.
No, but he put on a show. With the home run derby, it's almost more about putting on a show than winning it. Because people will always remember that.
That is like the crazy thing. He didn't actually win that home run derby, but he was the man in that home run derby. And that's kind of Josh Hamilton right there. He could really steal the show, but he really fucked up at times too. But yeah, guess what? He got his flowers over the weekend. That's cool. Staying in the AL West, Cal Raleigh now, a current home run masher. He homered in each game of the series over the weekend, so 3 straight games with a homer for Cal, but that's like nothing new for him. He's been doing that all year. This puts him at 45 home runs on the year, which ties him with Johnny Bench, the second most homers in a season by a catcher. Johnny Bench did it in 1970, so it's kind of a long – like you don't see this a lot from catchers. That's the whole point. But it ties him for second most all time or in a season, a single season by a catcher. Number one on the list is Salvi Perez with 48. He did that back in 2021. But Cal's at 45 with like a month and a half to go or whatever it is. It seems pretty likely that he's going to pass Salvi here.
Yeah. Knock on wood that something doesn't happen. But if anything happens, you know, to him, that's really the only way he doesn't catch Salvi. I mean, he's been incredible this whole entire year.
And why stop now, Cal? And here's the thing. They're going to face off. So Mariners are going to Kansas City in September 16th to the 18th. They'll be in Kansas City. I like to think that Cal's probably going to hit 4 home runs before September fucking 16th. And he has
definitely
like a little over a month. And at the rate he's going, it's very well could happen. But the point is, whether he does it or not, these guys will cross paths. Cal and Salvi will cross paths at a certain point before the season ends. And how can you not be romantic about baseball, right? So the last guy to who currently holds the single season record for home runs by a catcher and the guy who's chasing him, they will cross paths in like early mid-September or whatever it is.
Do you think Cal gets to 60?
I don't know about I don't think he gets to 60.
You think he I mean, so how many games are left? They're at 116 games.
Like a full month in the rest of August.
Dude, I think he's going to get close.
He would need like one homer every other day.
I think he's going to get close. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I don't think he's going to get 60. How much did
45?
I wonder how much like Judge had at this point last year? Because he ended with what, 58 last year?
Yeah.
So I wonder how much at this point last year Judge had. And then, but that would be interesting.
I'd have to look too. Yeah, he'll probably finish. I mean, should we put a little wager on it? Closest without going? Nah, let's say just closest within like 1 or 2. Like closest within the fucking thing. Because if it's closest without going over, that's fucking stupid.
I'd say 57.
Damn. Okay, I'll take the fucking under then. I'll say like 53. We should have put 53? A line on it. Let's put the line at like 55.5, and then you take the over. I'll take the under.
Yeah, I like that. I'll take the over on that bitch.
Okay, well, let's go, Cal. We're rooting for you. And hey, he will cross paths with Salvi in about a month or so. So that's cool. But I think there's a good chance he passes Salvi before they come to town to Kauffman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last thing here for our vibe check. Scherzer versus Kershaw was Friday. That was fucking nuts. Their first matchup happened in 2008. Now, we were talking about this before. when the whole crowd thought they were going to get Randy Johnson versus Greg Maddux. It turned out to be both those guys were the probables who got pushed back. It was a 44-year-old Randy Johnson versus a 42-year-old Maddux. That's what everyone thought they were going to get. Instead, their starts get pushed back, and you get a 24-year-old Scherzer versus a 20-year-old Kershaw. Little do we know that both of them are going to be future Hall of Famers. Now, was this on Friday? Was that their last time facing off against each other? I feel like it had to be, right?
It probably is. As long as Scherzer stays on the Blue Jays and plays, like, still, you know what I mean? Like, that AL-NL matchup first off, and then for them just to be able to line up to pitch on the same day, it's got to be.
Unless something crazy happens, they see each other in the World Series.
That'd be wild.
I don't think either of them
would be pretty insane.
I doubt either of them would even take the mound at this stage of their career in a World Series game, but they could be. This could mean the Dodgers or Blue Jays Dodgers could be a World Series matchup. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I like to think the Phillies could really do it.
We'll talk about that later, but I do too.
I really do. I mean, hey, I want to jump out of my shoes here. We'll change that. We'll go to cool and not cool right now. But I don't want to jump out of my shoes. But sometimes it's about who's on these teams and who's kind of like who's cool to get a ring in Toronto. Come on, that doesn't already have one, you know?
Yeah, Springer's got one. Bo Bichette and Vladdy, that'd be cool.
They have time. Yeah,
they
you know
do
what I mean?
Right.
It's like they're the coolest people to win a ring. Like when you look back on like their Wikipedias or baseball, he has one. Or like
you're right, he does.
Or like you look back on the Wikipedias or the baseball references, and you look back at these guys' careers. You want to see cool guys have rings. And I feel
so you're thinking about it. It's like Harper, Judge, maybe Manny. Who's like some older guys that still don't have rings too?
Oh yeah, Phillies, Yankees guys. Like I don't give a shit about them. Like we don't want them to do it.
I don't honestly
the Brewers have nobody that really I want to see have a ring.
Yelich.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll give this to the Mets. If Lindor gets traded, I'd like to see Lindor win a ring.
Yeah, maybe. I'll give him that.
I like
no one
to see
on the Red
Lindor.
Sox right now. Like no one on the Red Sox really deserves one. No one on the Tigers really. I mean, maybe
Baez has one.
I don't even care about him. Like Seattle, I don't even think Seattle.
No, there's no like.
Like there's got to be like cool motherfuckers, and the Phillies have the guys. Like you don't want to see these guys.
Like, I'm biased, but it seems like the number one person in the MLB right now is Bryce.
Yeah, who should have one?
Yeah, who should have one? Basically.
Yeah, and how nice would it be for like to add to Wheeler's career, add to Schwarber's career,
another one to Schwarber's. Like
another
if
one.
Schwarber walked out with two, and then like even. Like you can say like, oh, what about Mike Trout? Or it's like, well, he's on the 56 and 62 Los Angeles Angels right now.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a lot different.
But like you look at some of these guys, like JT was the best catcher in baseball for what, like a 4 or 5 year span, not even that long ago.
Yeah.
And like to add a ring to his red, like they just have the guy. Like it just feels like these are the group of dudes that really deserve it. Let's just see how they look down the stretch. But whatever. Scherzer versus Kershaw, by the way, cool jersey swap at the end of the game. But that's been talked about out the wazoo. That was back at Friday. Let's talk about something cool or not cool that happened yesterday with another legendary arm, and Justin Verlander became the 10th pitcher ever with 3,500 strikeouts. That was yesterday. So cool or not cool? Cool, right? But then how about this, Sean? He did get a loss, and it put him at 1-9 on the season. Ooh, Justin, don't like to see that.
Not cool, but it's both of them. It's cool and not cool.
Yeah,
Justin getting to 3,500 is really cool. Scherzer will probably be following him up pretty soon. I would hope so. You know, like I think Scherzer's pretty much there, but Justin just added another milestone to his Hall of Fame career. He's going to pass Walter Johnson to take him to 9th. He's probably going to pass Gaylord Perry as well. I just don't know how many more seasons these guys have under their belts, you know? So that's what it all depends on strikeout wise to see where they end up. But goddamn, were we lucky to start coming into baseball when Justin Verlander was pitching.
Yeah.
Goddamn, were we lucky. He's on the back end now. almost more of he's going to play more of a mentor role now than anything, I think, to like like Logan Webb and all of them and stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter how old you are, when you got a guy like Justin Verlander on your roster, you listen to him when he talks.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two about pitching, to say the least. But yeah, so that's cool that he got to that milestone. The big milestone that he was trying to get at the beginning of the season was wins, because he was at 262, I think the number was, and he was like maybe starting to sniff 300. And no one thought it was impossible. It seemed kind of crazy. I think he's 44, whatever he is. So it's like, and he hasn't been quiet about pitching, continuing his career like at an older age. So it's like, hey, is he going to try to get to 300? Can he get to 300? Well, I think the number was 262, and now we're in August, and the number's at 263. He's 1-9. So now it's like, ooh, Justin, you hate to see that. He also fucks Kate Upton. So it's like, oh, you want to believe that he can get to it because like everyone's rooting for him. But at the same time, he's 1-9 on the season. It took him a long time to get his first win. He finally did, and I think the strikeout stuff he figured would come along the way. But the thing that he really wanted to do was get to push inch closer to 300 wins. And that is a really tough milestone. We might never see a 300 winner again. Justin was trying to get to it. Who knows if he can do it? Who knows if he can't? Maybe being 1-9 with a shitty ERA this year, maybe he's, depending on how his body feels, maybe he's like, this is it for me, because he is like 44. He's just solidify a Hall of Fame case and get more strikeouts and just, finish strong. But yeah, maybe if he would have had like 8 to 10 wins this season, which isn't really asking a lot, he would have been in like the 270 win mark. And then it's like, ooh, maybe it's not impossible.
Yeah.
To get, maybe it's a different momentum thing. But 1-9, and when you're trying to hunt for wins, yeah, that's not cool. But the strikeouts is cool. Good for him.
Dude, listen, I want you to guess what Clayton Kershaw's all-time ERA is.
Oh, shit. Probably like a 2.35.
It's a 2.52.
Ew.
That is insane. That is fucking crazy.
Well, his you're going to talk about his win-loss record all time?
Yeah. 218 wins, only 96 losses.
Yeah, that
is fucking nuts too. Like, what the hell?
Clayton's nuts.
Yeah, Clayton is absolutely unbelievable. And kids nowadays will be like, who's this old man? It's like, no, you put some fucking respect on this guy's name.
That's true. And by the way, him and Scherzer in that game, they did go toe-to-toe very well. Kershaw went 6 innings, 1 earned, gets a win. Scherzer got the loss, but he went 6 innings, 2 earned. So not bad stuff. And both of them have looked pretty good at times this year. So not bad there. Verlander being the older out of the bunch. We've seen glimpses of Verlander still giving it to you. But yeah, that 1-9 on the season. Ew. But it's good to see these guys still shove it. I mean, Verlander, I don't think he's been going like not deep into games. He could have went 6 innings the last fucking outing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It does suck that Verlander's like the Giants around him just haven't been hitting as a whole since the beginning of the year. So it's not like they're really going to give him that much run support.
He's been kind of like steady rocking at like 5-inning outings, which sucks. And yeah, because even when the Giants were at their peak this year, he wasn't really like getting a shit ton of wins either. Okay, let's move on to Jen Powell, your girl, who's the first woman to ump a regular season game. So that's pretty cool, I guess. First base ump on Saturday. She was the first base ump on Saturday. And then she was a crew chief on Sunday. Oh, that's all cool. But then the first pitch of the game was a ball inside. Called a strike, Jen. Ooh, Jen, you called it a strike. It was a little inside.
Yeah.
It was a little inside, Jen.
You couldn't write that in a movie better. Like that was MLB posted that. That was real life. They were getting flamed for that. They were like, what a special moment. Crew chief, first ever crew chief to call balls and strikes. And the ball was so far inside, it was so obvious.
Yeah, it was. I think she was just eager to just go, whoo. I think she was eager to show everybody her like, ha.
That was real rough, but cool that it's, the first woman ump, yada, yada, but not cool of the first pitch. The first pitch was not cool.
Yeah, so I don't know how the whole game went for her. Maybe she settled in, or who knows? Like,
oh no, people weren't saying much about it, so it probably went well, honestly.
Yeah, it could have been a fine game as a whole. It's just funny that the first pitch was a missed call, and then people are like, oh, she's gonna fit right in, because like all the umps blow fucking calls anyway. So, but what are you gonna do? Good for you, Jen. Okay, Yankees had their Old Timers Day over the weekend. That's cool, and it's always cool to see all the legends in one place. I always do like Old Timers Day. So that was cool. But Mariano Rivera suffered an Achilles injury during the game. Ooh, Mo.
Yeah, that's rough, man. How old is Mo?
Fucking, I don't know. Should we check? He's got to be 50, like, 2, would be my guess. See if I know my guy. 55. He looks 52, though.
So that's rough. That's rough. At 55 to tear your Achilles, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot.
I don't know what he was doing. If he was running around the outfield, running around the bases. I saw him get a base hit off a Pettit, I think. So I don't know when and where he like ruptured it or torn it or whatever the fuck you do. But yeah, that sucks. And I think someone was on the broadcast, like maybe Roger Clemens or some shit was like talking, and he was like, yeah, like it's a good old timers day, but I think Mariano's on his way to the hospital or something or something. I think it was Clemens. I don't even know who it was. But so that sucks. I love Old Timers Day. I'm surprised there's not more injuries though on Old Timers Day because some of these guys are even older than Mo and they're running around and shit. So that's kind of crazy.
Okay, that's cool tradition.
It is. Here's a sick one. Nick Martinez, he pitched an absolute gem. I think it was against the Pirates. So okay, whatever. But I picked him in fantasy because I like the matchup, and he did exactly what you should do against the Pirates: 7 innings, 1 earned run on 94 pitches. Awesome stuff. And then he does his post-game interview, slugging a Miller Lite in his post-game.
Both cool. Miller Lite, cool. Pitching a gem, cool.
We've been on Nick Martinez a little bit this year. He's been a little bit of a streaky pitcher. But
we've been on the whole Red staff all year. Like the whole Red staff is good.
And they host the Phillies to start the week. They're going to see some good pitching. We're going to see some good arms. Hunter Green pitches in the series too. But either way, that just maybe I'm reading into it too much. I just think it's cool that he's slugging Miller Lite. But if you want to take it a step further, Terry Francona he's a motherfucker. He's great. And now you just talk about this team has a sense of swag. They have a little bit of an identity now. They are 62-57. They're trying to sneak into the postseason. They have a relaxed clubhouse. They're winning. They got that swag. They're just that comfortability. They're just chilling with the boys, drinking Miller Lights after a win. That's a dangerous team when you're comfortable and you're chilling with the boys and you're a tight-knit group and you're just hanging out like that. I think maybe I'm reading into it too much and it's just a dude drinking a Miller Lite after he shoves. But at the same time, Terry Francona's clubhouse, man, they're going to do what they do. And this Reds team could just be could go on a run, and they have an opportunity to prove it today to start the week against the Phillies. Yeah,
so they do have some pieces. Their pitching's unbelievable. We've been talking about their pitching the whole entire year, and now with the addition of Hunter Green coming back, you're only at 1.5 games out of the wild card, and the Mets suck right now.
Yeah.
So put some more pressure on them. Sucks that you have the Phillies who are hot. One of the hotter teams in baseball right now. They're kind of putting it together, but on the opposite end, the Reds, they have guys. When you talk about Ellie, Matt McClain, TJ Friedel, Austin Hayes is having a good year. Spencer Steer, Will Benson loves hitting bombs every now and again. And then you have the addition of like Ke'Bryan Hayes now over there too. So, and all to round it out,
your boy Andujar hit a homer yesterday for him.
He did, yeah. But also Terry Francona. Terry Francona is a good manager. He's gonna let the guys be guys. I was watching that. You'll never watch it, but I was watching that Netflix made a series of the Red Sox Yankees, the Red Sox comeback, and Terry Francona just let those Red Sox guys. Now I'm not saying that this is the same team, but he's very much a manager that lets his guys be themselves, and that's almost a good thing when you have a kind of a young clubhouse in a sense.
Yeah, I agree. And then you see Nicky drinking a Miller Lite. So if you're not a Nick Martinez fan already, and I'm probably a Nick Martinez fan now. I'll get his jersey just for the Miller Lite, just for his drink of choice being a nice ice cold Miller post game. So speaking of the Phils, though, because that's who the Reds are hosting, Bowman Alvarado in Lehigh Valley. I guess they're nearing a return for their own unique reasons.
Bowman's first start was last night, I think, or tonight.
I think it was last night because I saw him make a nice play at third. Yeah. But Bowman Alvarado and Lehigh Valley, okay, that's cool, because you want to be at full health and, the team's rolling right now, and now you feel like you can be stronger with these guys there. But maybe this is the part that's not cool, is that Alvarado was a fat fuck who literally cannot pitch in the postseason, and Ball might still be a crybaby.
So Robertson also just got recalled too. I'll add that in there. But Robertson had a 10 ERA when he pitched in AAA, so I'm super excited about that. So here's the whole entire thing about the Phillies, and this is the only spiel I'm going to have the whole entire day. Right now, they're getting it done. And then you talk about like Alvarado can take innings away from the bullpen, give some of them a rest for the postseason. Bohm is coming back. That's just an addition piece. It's not even like because they're playing well right now. So Bohm coming back just is a huge addition. I'm almost at the point that I do not give a shit what they do in the regular season anymore. I need to see what these guys are going to do in the postseason. It's plain and simple for me. I have hope. I'm starting to get my hope back and everything, but I always come back to the fact that we've had these streaks in the past where we have looked like the best team in the baseball and we're just going to mash no matter what. Harrison Bader, thank God he's proved me wrong. Made an amazing play out in center yesterday. He's been getting on base. So right now, Dombrowski looks like a great addition. Looks like he did his homework and did it well. You proved me wrong. Harrison Bader proved me wrong. I'm extremely happy to be wrong, right? But I need to see these guys do it in the postseason. I'm not going to get super excited about us hitting the baseball and playing good baseball right now because I don't give a shit about, like, I do give a shit about baseball in August, but I care more about how they play in October. It's as simple as that. So that's what I need to see. Yes, do I have hope for this team? Yeah, I do. But I need to see it in October.
Yeah, and here's the thing with like some of these guys. Like you talk about the biggest holes offensively was like center field, left field. So getting some really good contributions as of late by those guys. You talked about Bader, but Marsh is probably the hottest hitter on the team, and Kepler's been having some moments lately.
Kepler's actually, I saw a stat. Kepler has the second most go-ahead hits on the Phillies right now.
Good for him. He's been coming up clutch a few times in the last.
He has. He's been getting a little bit of confidence back, so that's good for him, and especially to do it down the stretch, that's also big as well because we know Kepler can hit the baseball, like he can, but baseball is half mental. So especially when you're playing in Philly, it's going to get to you. So, but with all these guys like Marsh hasn't been bad in the playoffs. He just doesn't play every day. I need to see how Stott does in the postseason. I need to see how Bohm does in the postseason. I need to see, are these guys going to show up? Are they going to give some protection to Bryce Schwarber? Is JT going to show up in the postseason? He has in the past. JT has shown up in the past, but also like his cast. I need to see how these guys do in October.
Simple I agree. And you can salvage a season in October. So Stott, who is, a little scrapper, he's not really doing it right now. Well, you can really salvage that.
Dude, they showed a graphic the other day. The bottom of the lineup was hitting damn near 400 over the past like 2 series. So the bottom of the lineup has really been coming up clutch lately.
A lot of it's fueled by Marshy, probably, right?
100%. He's been hitting the shit out of the baseball.
So I love to see that. But here's the thing also, right? So Bohm comes back. You like to think that could deepen a lineup. Now, when Sosa plays, he does. He had a homer yesterday. So Sosa's
incredible.
He always rises to the occasion. He asks anything of him. And that's like something that you have to give credit to the Phillies, between whether it's Sosa and you gave credit to Taijuan last week.
Yeah.
We'll see him tonight. He's whatever they asked him to do, he's done pretty well too. So, and then Sosa the same way. So there's something to be said about that. And maybe they do like Rob Thompson more than I've called Rob Thompson a cuck at times. But they do respond to Rob, I guess. Certain guys do, and maybe the whole team does. And when you're losing, it just looks worse. And when you're winning, it looks better. So maybe it's just as simple as that. But here's the thing, Alvarado comes in, deepens the staff. Bohm deepens the lineup. All that stuff is well and good, but Alvarado's not going to pitch in the postseason, so you can't be too reliant on him. But hey, listen, if he's going to help you punch your ticket to October, that's number one. And then, like you said, you got to see how they play in October. So it's not about how you get there; it's about what you do when you are there. And Alvarado, I know we can't pitch in the postseason, but he can help you punch your ticket to the postseason. And then from there, it's really just about what you do when you get there, and that's going to be the biggest thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Here, a couple more things for our cool or not cool, and then we'll get into our standings and our look ahead here. But Bryan Woo, this is kind of nuts. This is all-star Bryan Woo, by the way. He's made 23 starts so far this year. He's gone at least 6 innings in all of them. This is the longest streak to begin a season since 2019 Clayton Kershaw. That's cool as shit, which is nuts when you think about it. That's cool. Here's what's not cool. Yankee starting pitching has not recorded an out in the 6th inning since last Wednesday. Woo has gone 6 innings 23 consecutive times to start the season. No one on the Yankees staff has recorded an out in the 6th inning since last Wednesday.
What do you got to say about that?
Some of the Yankees' struggles hasn't even been from a lack of starting pitching. It's been a lot of like sloppiness and maybe quiet offense at times, or if the pitching is good, the offense doesn't show up. But listen, Fried on a must-win game yesterday, I thought was a must-win for the Yankees. They didn't really hit well, and then Fried didn't really have his best stuff. Fried's been quiet lately. He's been slumping in a pitcher's sense of the word. I don't even know who's pitching this. I think maybe we see Rodon at a certain point. We might see Cam Schlittler, Will Warren. So some of those younger guys too. I'd love to, if it's a younger guy who steps up and lights a fire under the veterans guys' asses. Love it. But you have a guy in Seattle right now, and Seattle's kicking ass. I mean, this is a hot team right now, and the ace of their staff is basically almost a quality start machine. He can go out and give you a quality start every fifth fucking day, where the Yankees can't muster up anything ever, it seems like. So that's really the difference. That really seems to be the difference. Pitching matters down the stretch. You know that Seattle has a lot of it. You like to believe that the Yankees can do it. They did have 2 all-stars from their staff, but right now it hasn't been, and they have been probably the quietest they've been all season. Not a good time to be quiet.
Guess what, Brian Wu?
Seattle has picked a really good time to be hot.
Guess what, Brian Wu? 25. And just to come out there with the guts every single day to give you a quality start, come on, dude. That is some really cool stuff and really great stuff from Brian Wu. He is a freaking beast. And also, no, there's not a single person I don't think that was talking about this guy before the season on that staff. Yeah. He was looked at to be like the probably the fourth or fifth guy.
Could have been.
In all honesty. And guess what? He's their ace. Clear cut. No questions asked. Their ace.
Yeah, he was the only all-star. He's been healthy all year too. You can't really shit on like a Logan Gilbert because he got hurt, really. But listen,
exactly, yeah.
But guess what? Injuries do set you back. So guess what? He rose to the occasion when some of his other stud pitchers were getting a little bit banged up, and then when they have come back, not have really pitched to the what they're capable of doing. Well, Wu has been healthy all year. He's been solid all year. He's been an all-star this year. On top of it, he's still young. Love Brian Wu. I call him Stephen Wu. I meant Brian Wu.
Doing it with a 3.08 ERA too. Awesome.
Guy's a dog. I called him Stephen Wu because I was thinking of Stephen Kwan, who's our next topic here. Did you hear this song? So Stephen Kwan is a song. Tell me if you can hear this. Tell me if you can hear this. Can you hear it?
Stephen Kwan has got it going on. Stephen Kwan has got it going on. Stephen Kwan has got it going on. Stephen Kwan has got it going on.
I'm not going to play the verses because I haven't made it that far in the song. I think I made it like halfway through the first verse, and I was just like, okay, it's getting a little cheesy. But the whole Stacey's Mom cover with Stephen Kwan, cool, not cool. I kind of like it.
I'll give it a cool. What else do you have to do in Cleveland besides make a Stacey's Mom cover to Stephen Kwan?
so I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay, I like that Cleveland because Philly will embrace their players, and there's a lot of these teams with like good fan bases, or at least good teams. They embrace it in the city. I don't know what they do in Cleveland. Of course, there's J-Ram, but I like that Cleveland has an opportunity to maybe embrace the dude and do a little Stephen Kwan's got it going on fucking song. So that was cool too. You gotta watch the whole song though, or listen to the whole song, because I made it like halfway through the first verse, and it kind of got like not cool, but the whole chorus is fun. Kind of makes you want.
Social media can be great at some points. It can suck, but it can also be great.
It can make that song kind of make him when he's batting, you kind of want to sing it or something. I don't know if he'll make it.
Should be his walk-up song.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if he'll make his walk-up song, but first of all, so we kind of alluded to this prior in the show. But our golden takes from, I think, last Monday, they hit. So I think your golden take was what? Seattle climbing?
Seattle, I think I said them being a half game back.
Okay, so you nailed it right on the fucking nose, because they're a half game behind Houston right now. And mine was the Phillies to continue to gain ground. And boy, have they, because the Mets are just losing. They had a 7-game losing streak. Fuck the Mets. We love to see that. The Phillies swept Texas over the weekend. And listen, Texas isn't taking anyone lightly. They're in no position to take anybody lightly. They're fighting for a wild card spot. And the Phillies to come into their place and sweep them is pretty fucking miraculous. Those were our golden takes. I mean, we could go a little bit deeper into some of these, what the wild card race looks like. We talked about the Mets falling. There's been the Cubs falling. Seattle's climbing. We talked about some of those things.
So if we want to start on the NL side, it is kind of wild because the Cubs are now 6 games back on the Brewers. So I mean, the
Ew.
Brew Crew is just insane. They're on a 9-game win streak. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Pretty unbelievable. The Cubs are still 4.5 games up in the wild card, so they still have a solidified spot in the wild card. But the Mets now are only 1.5 games above the Reds in the wild card.
Ew.
This was looking for a while like it was going to be. I don't really know what's going on with the Mets. Is it the pitching? Has the hitting gone quiet? Do you really know?
I think it's really they have maybe 4 guys in their offense that are worth noting: Nimmo, Soto, Alonso, Lindor. And if 1, 2, or 3 of them kind of get cold, or they all need to really be hot to fuel a whole lineup. You need 4 guys to fuel your whole lineup, basically. And if they just aren't all doing it at the same time, then it's just not enough, I don't think. And I do think their pitching has come down to earth too. I think as a team, they've kind of come down to earth.
Padres also 7-3 in their last 10. They look pretty damn good. They're 3 up in the wild card right now, only 2 games out of the Dodgers currently. So Padres making some big moves at the deadline come through, and now looking like they're playing some damn good baseball. We talked about them adding pieces to that lineup. I'm pretty sure Lorano.
Yeah, what's his name?
Laureano just hit a walk-off for them the other day, this weekend.
I think that was
So, I mean, there's like they made some big moves, and then like that huge move to acquire Mason Miller, and right now it's paying off for him.
Yeah, I love. Let's do a quick. You want to do a quick little deep dive on what the NL East? We go East and Central because the Phillies and Reds play each other, and then we can kind of get to the West when we get there.
I'm good for that.
I'm very intrigued on how the NL East and NL Central is going to look, because the Mets are struggling right now. They're certainly on the struggle bus. They are at home versus Atlanta. You like to think that, listen, Atlanta's a bad team. They're a 4th place team. You like to think the Mets can, at the very least, take care of business against a shitty Braves team. Maybe they win the series, take 2 out of 3, get back on track, something like that. Where the Phillies have the harder matchup to start the year, they're in Cincinnati, and we can kind of dive into this if you want, because tonight it's Taijuan Walker versus Andrew Abbott. One of those 2 guys was an all-star this year, and his name is not Taijuan Walker. So that's who the Phillies are seeing.
So last time the Reds and Phillies played this year, they actually got to Abbott pretty good. They got him out early. They got on him early, which is kind of shocking when you talk about the Phillies. They don't tend to do that a whole lot, but they got him out early. So hopefully they can do that again. Taijuan Walker, listen, he's come up in big spots for us this year. He's been asked, we've asked him to do a lot, and he's rose to the occasion most of the times. Granted, is he the best pitcher in the world? Absolutely not. Reds team's doing their 2-game win streak right now. Look pretty good, but we've got Walker, Suarez, and Sanchez, and they've got Abbott, Singer, and Green. So we're going to see some good pitching this entire, especially Sanchez versus Hunter Green on Wednesday.
Yep.
It's gonna be a good series. Phillies obviously want to gain more ground on the Mets, but then also the Reds are also want to gain more ground on the Mets. So it's kind of wild. I do like to think that the Phillies take 2 of these tonight. Tonight, though, this does have the makings of an Andrew Abbott masterclass tonight, and the Phillies, coming off of a back-to-back, both being on the road, coming up from Texas to Cincinnati, that they, kind of come out slow tonight.
Yeah, I think because since it does have a 2-game win streak, Philly 3-game win streak. So not like these monster win streaks, but hey, that does mean you win a weekend series when you have those types of things. So they're both coming off a good little series there. If you're going based off the pitchers, it's like Abbott's better than Taijuan. Does that mean the Reds rally behind him and maybe they hit Taijuan a little bit? Because Taijuan's coming off a good outing. So maybe you lean Abbott there if you're just going off the pitchers, which maybe that same logic, you take Ranger over Singer, which makes Sanchez versus Hunter Green the rubber match potentially, which would be nuts. And I would love to see it just ride with the lefties, Abbott, Suarez, Sanchez. That would be crazy. That means Phillies. But if Sanchez, Hunter Green, which does have the makings of a potential rubber match, that would be nuts. That's almost like a playoff atmosphere as it is right there. That's a crazy, crazy series.
Also, we can't just say that Ranger Suarez is just an automatic win, because he's looked iffy as of late. He has.
Taijuan's looked really good. Who's to say he doesn't go toe to toe with Abbott?
Yeah, so Ranger hasn't looked his best. Taijuan's kind of stepped in a little bit. I think he just threw six shutout innings his last outing.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be an interesting series. But then also we talked about the Mets, because both these teams are trying to, one's trying to gain more ground and one's trying to catch up. Mets are going against the Braves. Braves are on a 3-game win streak right now. I'm pretty sure they just swept whoever they were just playing.
Yes, I don't even know who they were playing, but
Now listen, the Braves still suck,
they're playing Miami,
which makes me super happy.
That was the Jen Powell series.
which makes me extremely happy that the Braves still suck. But 3-game win streak going against a struggling Mets. Atlanta's going to get up every time they play the Mets. They hate each other. They do not like each other. The fans don't like each other. I'm pretty sure the players don't like each other. So it's not like the Braves are just going to take this lightly. Like, this is kind of their World Series because they don't have anything to play for this year.
Yeah, they're going to play spoiler here, and of course they want to shit on a division rival. Now, here's what scares me about this. Well, I shouldn't say scary, but like this is why I would kind of lean Mets here, which would kind of scare me for the Phils because they clearly have the harder matchup here, where the Mets are at home. And okay, maybe you see Strider on Tuesday versus Clay Holmes because this series starts tomorrow. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's cross that out. But then you Carrasco versus David Peterson. Tough to bet against David Peterson right now. And then Elder versus Senga. So the Mets do have the ability to roll out a David Peterson and then a Senga to kind of help you through that series while you are at home against an under 500 team. That's why the Mets do have an opportunity to gain some ground here. The Reds are going to see that and say, shit, like what are they, 1.5 behind the Mets? And they're going to say, oh, shit, like they have this matchup, a favorable matchup with a shitty Braves team, and they are at home, where the Reds are saying, well, we're at home too, but we just have a tough Phillies team coming to town. But they're really going to try to take advantage of an Abbott and Hunter Green, even though Hunter Green, this is his second start off the IL. See if he gets back in the swing of things on Wednesday.
Yeah, so Peterson hasn't looked the best his past couple starts. He's been a little up and down. What does Senga look like?
Yeah, what does Senga look like?
Senga's had pitched, so the last 15 days, Senga's pitched twice. He's posting a 5.4 over his last 2 games. Yeah, 8 innings pitched.
5 earned, yeah.
So he's, he's up and down. This is what I was talking about at the beginning of the program, where it's going to be kind of wild towards the end here. Because if the Reds have a good series and the Mets have a bad series, Mets just damn might fall out of the wild card race. Not fall out, but they might switch spots with the Reds. But hopefully the Phillies can play spoiler and, get to 70 wins this series. I would love that.
I'd love it too. And there's also other stuff going on in the Central too. Milwaukee sitting pretty at the top of the Central, by the way. They look really fucking good. And just when they get hot, they didn't look back. They're on a 9-game win streak. They're 9-1 their last 10. Are they the first team to 70 fucking wins? Yes, they are, and they have 73 of them. So they're not really looking back at all once they got hot. And the Cubs are now 6 games back. So they just continue to gain ground. As soon as they surpass the Cubs, and then they just continue to pour it on them. Well, they're going to be home against Pittsburgh to start the week. So you like to think that they're going to win another series. You like to think, because Pittsburgh sucks. You will see Skeens and Freddie Peralta on Tuesday. But, still, you'd like to think Milwaukee rolls over Pittsburgh, where the Cubs are going to Toronto. So it doesn't get easier for the Cubbies.
No. And the Cubs over the last 30 days, we were talking about how potent this lineup is. Their best hitter right now is Matt Shaw over the last 30 days. He's got 7 bombs, 15 ribbies, he's batting .323. But some other notable guys, like Pete Armstrong over the last 30 days is hitting .225, and Kyle Tucker's hitting at .212. Sayad at .203. So when those 3 guys in your lineup are not doing, too hot per se since the All-Star break, and you also don't have the pitching really to back it up,
you really don't.
It's scary. You need these guys to start coming around and start really, showing out for you.
Yeah, there was a certain time of the season when maybe Cubs Toronto was people are like, this could be a World Series. You know how people like to say those shit. Maybe Cubbies were hot all year, and maybe Toronto was kind of just entered in first place, and they were both good at the same time. Well, Toronto seems to really just continue to get hot. Cubbies, like we said, but fallen. And then part of it is also say it was a really not to say this isn't a high leverage series, but say it was some type of playoff thing or a World Series potential showdown. I don't think that's the case, but say just to go back on what people were saying, say it is. Then Cubbies roll out a Ben Brown, Cade Horton, Matthew Boyd in a best of 3, where Toronto rolls out a Barrios, Gausman, Scherzer at a best of 3. It's just I don't even think those are each team's best 3 pitchers, but you get the point. If you're going to roll out 3 pitchers down the line late in the season, Toronto has the guys that they could roll out any 3, in a series, and it looks a little bit sexier. I trust Barrios way more than I trust Ben Brown. Cade Horton hasn't been bad. He's actually been a bit of an unsung hero for them, and he could even be a little bit of an X factor guy for the Cubs. But Gausman might be considered the ace of this team, and I don't even know how if his numbers are the best, which is scary.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd has been a stud this year, but it's not like Max Scherzer at this stage of his career. He's proven to go toe-to-toe with you. So, like, Toronto has the ability to roll out a solid 3 pretty much at any time. The Cubs don't have that ability. That's basically the point I'm trying to make. And that's why – and the Cubs are also the away team. Toronto's hosting them. So get your passports out, Cubbies, because it could be an interesting series because they've been cold and they're facing a hot Toronto team.
And the wild thing about the Cubs was this was supposed to be the easiest part of their schedule was the back half. The front half was the hard part. The front half was that they had the hardest schedule in all of baseball the first half of the season. This was supposed to be the back end where they just get to coast. And now they're making it harder on themselves because they just have guys on their offense not performing.
Yeah, it's so weird. At the very least, the Cubs, I think, are going to have the Pirates over the weekend. Might be a 4-game series if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, it wouldn't be. It'd be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series against the Pirates, I think. When I looked ahead, I thought I saw that. So at least the Cubs have that opportunity to get back on track there. But right now, Milwaukee's showing no signs of stopping. They have a last-place Pirates team. Cubbies, who are falling more and more out of first place by the day, have the harder matchup in Toronto. You don't like to see that. And who knows, if the Reds roll out some of their pitchers, and if the Reds are the hotter team right now over the Cubs, they're both 5-5 in their last 10. But, the Reds are trying to gain ground. They are the home team. I don't know if that's an advantage for them. I still think the Phillies would be favored, but still, that's what's going on in the Central and a little bit of the NL East in terms of just the 2 teams that matter. Phillies matter.
And this is why I think ultimately the Cubs were losers at the deadline.
Oh yeah.
Like you pick up a guy like Willie Castro. That's great. That's great and all, but he's hitting 160 since he got him. And then you don't get it. You get Mike Soroka,
who's hurt.
Exactly. So it's not they did not do enough at the deadline, and it's really starting to show now.
I agree. And a lot of people were shitting on Milwaukee with their deadline moves. It's like, well, I don't know what they necessarily needed. Now, they still could have been losers at the deadline and still be the hottest team in baseball. Like, both things are true. But people were shitting on Milwaukee heavy, and the Cubs were just very disappointing, and they're looking to be like they're losers right now.
And also something we haven't talked about yet is how good Andrew Vaughn has been. I also did not know Andrew Vaughn was a top 5 draft pick.
Yeah,
until they were talking about it.
Right? Yeah.
They were talking about it on MLB Network. White Sox kind of gave up on him. Well, guess what? He's showing out for the Brew Crew right now. Same thing with like a guy like Isaac Collins. Over the last 30 days, he's hitting 377.
This is a team full of just contributors. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just role players. Just you're going to scrap together. William Contreras is finding it now too. Like Jackson Chourio has been playing like the star they wanted him to be. It's pretty like this team has been really well, like kind of rallied around each other.
Oh yeah. They had a late game comeback against the Mets yesterday. I think Edwin Diaz might have blown a save or something like that. Isaac Collins had a walk-off home run, and they had they put together, this late game comeback. They muster up runs, they get base runners, and then they can capitalize with a home run. They're a well-rounded team, and they get contributions from basically everybody top to bottom in that lineup.
And guess what? Your guy, Terang over there at second base said, you're not going to make me an all-star. I'm just going to hit 300 with 5 bombs and 16 RBIs since the all-star break.
Wow.
Go fuck yourself, MLB. Like this team is really rallying around each other. It's cool to see.
And they got scrappers too, right? He's got 21 stolen bases, Terang. Love to see it. Let's go, Bryce. And I just picked up what's his name? Isaac Collins in one of my leagues.
That's a huge pickup.
Good guy. I might pick him up in another league too. I will see if he's out there. But good for Milwaukee. So that's the Central doesn't look like it could really be shaken up too much, even if the Reds have a better series. And I don't think nothing's really going to change too much in these in the standings just based on Monday through Thursday type shit. But in terms of the West could be shaken up depending on what happens with teams like the Dodgers and the Padres.
Yeah, the Dodgers have the easier matchup traveling to Anaheim, and they're getting Soriano, Anderson, and Hendricks. It's not a whole lot, but Cubs, kind of like Detroit, every time I look at their last 10, every time I check the standings, they're 5-5. Mm-hmm. Almost every single time. They haven't really gone on a streak. They haven't really gone on a losing streak either, but they haven't been the team they were in the first half. Well, guess what? They're still so good that they're 68-50 and still staying at the number one in the West. But
the Dodgers. Yeah.
Dodgers. That's what I say. Sorry, but the Dodgers.
Yep.
You get Yamamoto. I don't even know who this is. Emmett.
Oh, Emmett Sheehan. Yeah, no one knows who that is.
And then
This
you get
it's one
Shohei
of their
pitching
many.
Wednesday.
It's one of their many like fucking randos that they have.
But
You
then
know how they keep throwing these random motherfuckers.
yeah. But then you get the what is it? San Diego is traveling to San Francisco, so interleague. San Francisco is kind of really fallen here. They're 500, but Padres are only 2 out. Padres are only 2 out on the Dodgers. So if the Padres have a good series here and the Dodgers slip up a little bit, it could be a little interesting. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Dodgers will switch up against the Angels, but we shall see.
Yeah, that's what makes it interesting because, I mean, in terms of a wild card race, there's things that there could be some movement in that. But in terms of just how the standings stack up in terms of divisions, the Padres could see themselves in first place by the weekend. I don't think it happens. I do think the Dodgers have the more favorable matchup. Now, Dodgers and Padres are both on the road. But like you said, I think the Dodgers have a more favorable matchup with an under 500 Angels team. I like to think the Dodgers come in and take care of business. At least 2 out of 3, realistically. This isn't a team. It's not the blow you out of the water Dodgers that we thought they'd be, but they're still a take care of business team. If they take 2 out of 3, they'll be at 70 wins by fucking Thursday. So that could very well happen. Where San Diego is going to go to their place. San Fran could be the harder matchup. They're currently at 500. And it's like, for San Fran wants to play spoiler. They want to beat up on a division rival. That's kind of where they stand. And they're going to roll out Logan Webb and Robbie Ray in 3 games. The first 2 games of that. Where San Diego, I don't know. Do you love Darvish? Do you love Cortez? They're veterans. They can get it done. But they're going against Webb and Robbie Ray. So then you will roll out Pivetta. You want to get a win from him. But if San Diego can take care of business, granted they have the harder matchup, I think. But if they could take care of business, and the Angels, want to squash a LA rival, maybe there's some movement in the standings. I don't think that happens. I like to think the Dodgers take care of business in LA. That's in Anaheim though. And then maybe the Padres play all right against San Fran. I don't think they beat Logan Webb and Robbie Ray, but maybe they win one of those, and then maybe Pivetta shoves for you, and that's what it looks like. So nothing too crazy. But if there were to be movement in the standings, I think the West is the most likely that you're going to see it.
Yeah, then we get I guess we can start talking about the AL now because the AL's pretty damn interesting. The Yankees are pretty lucky because everybody around them, minus the Mariners, was kind of losing games this week or yesterday. Like the Guardians lost yesterday. The Rangers go on a 4-game losing streak. The Red Sox are on a 2-game losing streak also. So not a really whole lot of movement from them Sunday, but they're in danger. They're only a half game up on the Guardians right now, Spin.
Yeah, bad.
So that's not good. And the Guardians got Miami. Granted, the Yankees got Minnesota, but Minnesota's been playing some inspired baseball.
Maybe you could say that. I mean, so it's a very they were sellers. They were hella sellers, obviously, right? So we'll see what they roll out and what they look like. We'll see Joe Ryan on Wednesday. So the Yankees do get exposed against good pitching. So Joe Ryan could very well come into the Bronx and shut you the fuck out. So let's hope that they can get to Zebby Matthews and then whoever pitches. It's TBD for the Twins on Tuesday. But between Zebby and TBD, that's Will, Warren, and Rodon in that order. Maybe you can get something. Warren has proven to give you good outings. Rodon can be a guy. And then it's Joe Ryan versus Schlittler. I like to see the Yankees take 2 out of 3 here. They got to get back on track to 3-7 in the last 10. They've been losing series against maybe some good opponents. They lost 2 out of 3 from Houston. All right, so this is a good matchup to hopefully get back on track. Take 2 out of 3. Put yourself in better position in the standings because Boston travels to Houston. That's a harder matchup. Maybe you can gain a little bit of ground there. And then Cleveland is going to be on your tail. Yeah, because they have Miami at home. And they've been playing really good baseball. Cleveland's playing really good.
It's a good point that Boston is traveling to Houston because also Houston's now only, I think, 2 games up or maybe 1.5 games up on the Mariners.
They're a half game up on the Mariners.
Half game up on the Mariners. So Astros, Red Sox, this becomes an important series for both teams So this is probably the most important series being played this week, I would say, because this has the most likelihood of there being a shakeup. Because the Mariners got Baltimore. Guess what? The Mariners can take care of business against Baltimore. They're on a 7-game win streak right now. Granted, every win streak comes to an end at some point, but you like to think that they can win at least 2. And the Astros Red Sox, that's going to be a toss-up. You got Crochet, May, and Buehler for Boston, but then you got Christian Javier, Arrighetti, and Hunter Brown for the Astros. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen in that series?
Yeah, Houston gets good contributions from some of their random-ass people. Christian Javier, I don't know, is he coming off an injury?
I think he's pitched a little bit.
What's good with Christian? He's making his first start of the season tonight. So there's Christian for you.
Okay.
But they get some good contributions. He'll probably be on like a pitch count or something. That might fuck up a bullpen, though, if you got to give a lot of innings on a Monday. Who knows? But Arrighetti could give you good outings, and they get contributions from these motherfuckers. Hunter Brown could definitely shove, and we'll see Hunter Brown to end the series on Wednesday. We'll see Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox to start the series off tonight. Cool stuff there. May and Buehler have experience, pitching in big games down the stretch. So let's see what happens there. With Seattle traveling to Baltimore, yeah, that's another thing, right? Because Seattle's on Houston's tail. They have the more favorable matchup. And then also, if this is worth mentioning, Texas is at home. They host Arizona, who cares? But you'll see Eovaldi and Merrill Kelly for 2 of those games if you're Texas. With Jack Leiter in the middle. So it's like there's another one too who's again trying to punch their ticket to October. Another 60-win team right there is Texas.
And the Rangers are 2.5 out after losing 4, so the Rangers are still in it, obviously too. They have a favorable matchup against, like you said, the Diamondbacks. All of these guys have, except for Boston and Houston, which is going to be a good series, but Yankees have a favorable matchup. Guardians have a favorable matchup, which is wild that I'm even saying that. And then the Rangers have a favorable matchup too. So all 3 of those teams need to take advantage of it. Same thing with the Mariners. They need to take advantage of it as well. It's just, will these teams take care of business? Who do you think does take care of business, Spin?
In terms of the favorable matchup, guys, it's so hard. The Yankees don't really strike you as a team that do, but against central opponents and under 500 teams, I'm not really too worried about them, to be honest with you. So I do think the Yankees take 2 out of 3. Texas is another weird one, though, because it's like you want to believe in them, but what have they really done to make you believe? As soon as you kind of believe in them, they start to shit the bed again. But I do think Texas can too. So I do think Yankees will. I think Texas will. I like I like that Merrill Kelly's on this team now. That kind of gives you a solid another dude. And Gallen has it's Gallen versus Kelly, so they're former teammates there on Wednesday. And I think. I do think Texas will, but you have to believe that Seattle does too. Seattle's probably the biggest one. Cleveland's is a toss-up. They're the hotter team, but hey, sometimes Miami can get to you. And don't you think it's weird, Miami going to Cleveland? I feel like that's a weird matchup for me.
I think it's just really disgusting.
Yeah, it's just
if I'm being completely honest. Anytime anybody really goes to Cleveland, it's kind of disgusting, but Miami, it's hot. It's hot. Yeah. Cleveland is not.
Yeah, I don't know. Miami, like traveling to Cleveland, just is like a weird. It's just like aesthetically weird to me. But either way, I don't know. Cleveland, Miami is a toss-up for me. You like to think that Seattle takes care of business. You like to think that Texas can do it. Yankees can do it. But what? There's nothing about Seattle that makes you think that they cannot take care of business here. It's just a matter of, does Houston take care of business? And if not, Seattle might be in first place.
Yep. This is going to be fun to look back on, even on Wednesday when we look at it, and then on Friday especially when we can really dive into it Friday when we look into our Wet Hot American weekend. But the rest of the season, every single time we kind of have the podcast, it's gonna be up in the air.
Yeah. It's tight, and a lot of these games matter now, so it's always cool to see. And even Detroit, who we didn't really talk about, not that there's much to talk about, they're sitting pretty in first place in the Central. I don't think there's really worry about Cleveland trying to switch places with them, although Cleveland has been the hotter team. But Detroit is in the south side of Chicago. They got the White Sox to start the week, so they're at 68 wins. So you like to believe that Detroit, who's not playing their best baseball, can get to 70 wins by Thursday, maybe even by Wednesday, with a favorable matchup there. So just to put their stamp on a pretty good season as it is. It was great. Now it's all right. It averages out to good, and they can get to 70 wins. And that's what the Central could look like. Where Toronto, who are they having again? They had the Cubbies. Oh, and they can get to 70 wins. They're at 69. So we might see them those could be the next 70 game winners. Dodgers at 68. Yeah, Phillies at 68.
I would love to see the Phillies at 70 wins by Wednesday. That'd be fucking awesome.
Here, let's do this. So the Brewers have 70. We'll end the show with maybe this could be like a combined golden take. Brewers are at 70 wins right now. They're at 73. Okay, the next closest, Phillies 68, Dodgers 68, Toronto 69, Detroit 68. And should we throw Houston at 66 in there? No, let's just throw the
68ers, yeah.
Okay, the 68ers and above. Right now there's one team with 70 wins. How many teams are at 70 wins by when we look again on Friday?
I think there's
the Cubs have 67, so they're not totally out of it either.
I would say there's 4: Dodgers, Phils, Tigers, Blue Jays. I think all the 68 wins get to 70. Dodgers can get 2 against the Angels. I think the Phillies can get 2 against the Reds. Blue Jays can definitely take 1 against the Cubs right now, and the Tigers can definitely take 2 against the White Sox.
So definitely Tigers, definitely the Blue Jays take 1. The Brewers are already in. So Tigers, Blue Jays, Brewers are already in. So there's at least 3. You think the Phillies take 2 from the Reds?
I think they can take 2 from the Reds, yes.
And the Dodgers take 2 from the Angels. So I think there's at least 4, and then the Phillies are the iffy one because they have the hardest one out of all these teams.
Yeah, that's the only one that's up in the air for me is the Phillies. And then Houston might be till, I don't know who they have this weekend, but Houston and the Cubs, it might not be till after the weekend that they get to 70.
Nice. So yeah, we could expect about 5 teams to.
Shit, the Mariners might be there by this weekend too.
That's true. What are the Yankees at 62? Who knows about the Red Sox? They're 5 away, but they have a tough matchup with Houston. I don't know what their weekend looks like. That's crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that the Brewers might win the most games in the entire MLB this year.
Who had that one, huh?
No, nobody. Not a single person.
I wonder what people. I guess everyone thought the Dodgers, right? Everyone's like, "Oh, the Dodgers are going to win 120 games. It's not even fair." Well, look at him, dude. I mean, you still got to go out and compete and be healthy and actually put your money where your mouth is. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
When you have 15 guys on the IL all at the same time every single week with different people going in and off the IL every day, like it doesn't matter.
And baseball is a game where you can't just like fuck around. Like like Mookie Betts is hitting 240 this year. He's actually playing better as of late. He's having coming off a pretty good week, but I mean he's hitting 240 on the season. So it's like you actually have to go out and fucking hit the ball and muster up runs. You don't just fucking win you don't win the season in the off season. But that's crazy. I think there is reason to believe that come August 11, 12, 13, 14, August 14th, we'll see 5 teams at 70 wins. And then we'll have to do a deeper dive on coming up. I mean, leading up, we'll have a better idea on Wednesday too what some of this what the playoff picture could look like. But teams punching their tickets to October, very fun time of year.
I do wonder, like this year, normally we get some people clinching pretty early. I don't know if it's going to happen this year. Like I don't see a single team on here clinching super early on anybody. Like I don't think the Cubs are going to be like this forever. I think they're going to make a streak and probably like the Brewers are super hot, but who knows? Maybe they fall off a little bit too. So like I don't know if there's going to be super early clinches from any of these teams this year. Yeah, even the Tigers.
Yeah, nobody's really like miles ahead of like the next team. And it kind of felt like that at a certain point. There was a time when the Yankees were in first place, like whenever they were there, like it was a big gap between, and then look how things changed. Now the Yankees are in third and Toronto is basically, I shouldn't say running away with it, but they're very much in charge of that division. We thought Detroit was,
Detroit still is 7 games up, but like, you know what I mean? Like it's closer than we thought. They were like 12 games up at one point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you thought that they were going to continue to pound. there might have been even times where we thought the Cubbies were just gonna fuck around and do it.
Yeah.
But look how shit changes. But that's what you gotta love about the game, man. And that's why it's so crazy when you think like, oh, the Dodgers are gonna do this, or that's not fair, blah blah blah. I always keep coming back to the Dodgers, but that's what was the most recent talk. And it's like, well, dude, you still gotta fucking do it. They actually have their division's actually the closest. Well, maybe with the exception of Houston and Seattle, but the Padres being 2 games out is the closest, at least in the National League.
Yeah, the Padres really made a huge splash, and that's.
So what were the 2 things we said? 5 teams by Friday with 70 wins, and then there was another one on Cal Riley's home run total. You have over 55?
Yeah, and you have under.
I'm going to make a note. We have 5 teams by Friday.
Yeah, 5. No, do we have 5? 1,
Well,
2,
counting the Brewers.
3. Yeah, so counting the Brewers, it's 5.
Those are our little gentleman's wagers. And also maybe we can combine it to a golden take because we're hot on the golden takes.
Yeah, we are one.
They're 1 in a row. We got
That's
one,
good.
1 in a row.
That's the start of a win streak, Spin.
Yeah, it is.
That's how you start a win streak.
Well, I love it. And we got more in store on Wednesday. We'll keep obviously track of these standings because it's been fun to keep track of. And this is the time of year we got to punch your ticket to October. We'll see who does and who doesn't, who falls short, and who can make a late push. We'll see because there's some good matchups and pivotal matchups to start the week. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Sean and Spit in the Morning, presented by Off Base Media.